it wrong with this whole taxes issue? And is it interesting that it appears that it is a precondition in getting a board approval from the IMF? Doc.
Thank you very much. I think Mr. Boaji has said all that I wish to say, because where are we going? The question you asked, our problem is, one, we are not being certain with taxation. Taxation is about certainty, because the businessman would have to plan, would have to factor in all the taxes and its impact on his business. And like he rightly said, to get a tax to work successfully and give you the needed revenue, you need to have consultative processes in place. The people the tax is going to impact on, remember, the businesses are your agents who are going to collect the tax for you. And so if you don't engage them and take their inputs and know, they may tell you, well, we think that instead of bringing, let's say, this growth and stabilization levy of 5%, why don't you look at our 25%, wait till we make the profit, you increase it to 27. They could give you such a suggestion. So the consultative approach is very important. Then the other issue with our tax system, you were asking whether it was a conditionality. My senior Prof. Taxation is here. I don't think that anybody will tell you, bring in taxes before I give you a loan. If he tells you, I want to see how you are developing your fiscal space, has he told you to increase taxes? If your income is to meet expenditure, are there no expenditures that may be postponed or suspended to give you enough room to maneuver when things happen? You can continue. Indeed, most of the calls that are being made are not on cancellation entirely of some of the projects. People are even asking, can you suspend some of them that are not so immediate and present? And when things normalize, we come back to it. I don't think that is asking too much. As to finding fiscal space to run an economy, it's not about increasing, it's that are we efficient and effective in the collection of the existing taxes? Because we have studies by Upoku and Tanaka in 2020 showing us what we call the tax gap, the difference between the actual taxes we collect and the potential we can collect. How have we closed that gap? Because the more taxes you introduce, the wider the gap would be if compliance is that low or non-existent. So I believe if we are able to mop up excessively what exists, and we are not able to achieve, then we can start thinking about, is it that we don't have enough? We have more than enough taxes. The rates that we have are competitive in the sub-region, and so why are you increasing it? That has been my problem.
So, Prof,
with businesses.
So, Doc, for you, you think that, listen, these set of three key revenue measures is something that government should think twice about it in pushing it?
We need to think twice about it, because let me give you an example. If you take the excise duty, for example, I keep saying that taxation is not all about revenue mobilization. Because if you look at the role of taxation in an economy, it plays so many roles. You can use taxation to develop businesses. You can use it to create jobs. And how do you do that? If you lower taxes on businesses, all things being equal, we expect that their retained earnings, they will expand and create jobs, take on more hands. If you tax them the more, my prof is here, he will tell you about the incidence of taxation. Yeah. The businessman would either shift it forward or backwards. Shifting it forwards, depending on the demand for his goods, if the people will not complain about prices, he will increase prices and recover. So if you think you are targeting the businessman, like Mr. Boaji said, is the customers. The backward shifting, if he can't push it forward, he cuts down the scale of production, so he has to lay off workers. Then he goes to increase unemployment. Factors of inputs, he has to reduce it. If he wants to make trouble, he can feed his family, he can move around, he's okay.